Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Global Phenomenon. This is a new space that I created to gather all of the awesome minds around there who believe that there is nothing impossible for them, who believe that the world, like your life, this is the game of life and you want to win at it. You want to end your life knowing that you did everything you wanted to do, that you achieved everything you wanted to accomplish, that you reached millions of people and there was nothing standing in your way. But in order to make this happen, we need to figure out what is it that we stand for? What is it that we do? What is it that are our guiding principles? What are our values, right? It's not just make it to the top no matter what, no matter who we step on. That's not what we're going to stand for here. So we need to write these things down. We need to write down these rules so that we know exactly what we stand for. Hello, everybody. My name is Ina Coveney, and I am a salary replacement expert. What that means is that I help professionals start a business on the side, replace their salary within a year so they can do whatever they want in their lifetime. So, based on that, which is my bread and butter, which is my people, which is my trailblazing out of corporate life community, right? I have a group called Trailblazing Out of Corporate Life. I have a podcast called Trailblazing Out of Corporate Life, and I released episode 95 today. We're about to turn 100. Super exciting. And it got me thinking with the help of mentors. By the way, I want you to know that I am helped by mentors, that I'm constantly learning, constantly looking for ways to get help, looking for ways to expand my horizons and expand my mind. And I work with a mentor. Not afraid to say her name because everybody should have a little bit of her in their life. Her name is Dr. Gladys Atto, ATO. She is amazing. If you need a mentor, send me a message. I will get you in touch with her. She's a leadership mentor, and she's guiding me through the process of really understanding what is it that I want. What is it I want for my life? I have been helping my people, which were people like me, getting like stuck at a job, but they knew they could do better, right? They knew they could accomplish things that were so much bigger. And I help them create that vision. I have a Be Found program, which is a program where I guide new entrepreneurs through their market research and understanding their message and understanding their ideal client in order to create a website that will be hugely impactful and will get them clients so that they can stop working at their jobs 9 to 5 and they can start to build the life they want. So through working with mentors, through thinking through what is it that I want in my life, this concept came up, which was the concept of being a global phenomenon. And the reason this came up is because one of the things that I preach all the time is to think big, is to dream big. The way that I usually explain this is, think about this. You have a goal, right? And by the way, this comes from me having been a project manager in IT, in technology for a very long time. So I know how project timelines work. And very rarely does a project manager with little experience, does a project manager ever manage to calculate exactly when things are going to happen and complete the project with all of its goals checked off exactly on time and exactly on budget. Any project manager will tell you, or anybody who has hired project managers or contractors will tell you, things tend to take a turn, right? Like there are things that you can't predict that are going to happen. So it's up to a good project manager to adjust the expectations, reset, and maybe we're not going to finish off with 100% of our goals, but we'll finish with 80%, and that's good enough, and everybody's happy with it. That's usually how projects work. So I would love to draw an analogy from that to our life. Okay. We have a goal. We have a goal to get the corner office, right? And a lot of us, or some people will relate to this. You start out in your early 20s, like, yeah, I'm gonna get the corner office. Then in your late 20s, you become a team leader. It's a good paying gig, but it's not really what you love to do, but you stick it out because you're already there, you're making good money. Then you have a family, then you keep moving up, moving on in life. And then that corner office just kind of becomes farther and farther and farther away. And we start to become a little bit more complacent with what our life is now. right? I don't have a bad life. We tell ourselves things are fine. I didn't really need that corner office when I was in my early 20s. I didn't know what I wanted, right? So our goals have a way of getting pushed down by things that happen in our life. That's what happens. Okay. We have a goal of making $100,000 a year in our job in 3 years. So 3 years go by and we're making 80,000. We're like, well, we're close enough. That's good. Goals have a way of doing that, of getting pushed down by external factors, by you yourself having limiting beliefs, by you yourself just saying, oh, I didn't really want that anyway. So there's something that happens to goals when we first set them that gets us to not really accomplishing it 100%. That happens. It's like the norm of life. It's exceptional cases where you actually blow through your goal, or you actually manage to meet your goal exactly. Those are the exceptional situations, which is why I always tell my people, dream and aim much, much higher. Don't, even though I'm a salary replacement expert and I will teach you how to replace your salary, I tell people, don't aim for replacing your salary. Aim for tripling it. Whatever it is that you're making now, figure out a way that in a year you're going to be making 3 times as much. But Ina, that's impossible. It's only impossible if you say that it is. Many people have done it. People who believe that there's nothing standing in their way. So when I'm here talking in the global phenomenon page, I want you to know that I'm going to assume that that is your mindset. That is going to be one of our values. Our value is going to be that we believe that anything is possible for us. Okay? Everybody else may have a smaller mentality. Everybody else may say, well, that's not realistic. I should write an entire article about the destructive power of the word realistic. We won't be using that word around here. Okay? Next time that I use that word, it will be to tell you to not use that word. In fact, I heard that word recently in one of my posts. I posted about, hey, do you guys ever think about doing a TED Talk? That's something that's on my list. And there was somebody said, well, I believe that when I listen to TED Talks, they talk about things that are not realistic for most people. That's the usage we're going to avoid. How does that person know that being on the TED stage, that accomplishing something that is really hard to accomplish, how do we know that that's not realistic for people? That's how we put ourselves down, and that's how we put others down. And it's not what we're going to do here. Okay? So what I wanted to do is, okay, so we have all these big dreams. We want to be on the TED stage. We want a Netflix special. Hello, Brené Brown, right? We want all these things, right? And I'm gonna come completely clean with you guys. When I was writing down what this page would be about, I started to feel like the purpose of this page of, hey, follow my journey as I become a global phenomenon. I started to feel like it was vapid. I really started to feel like, why does this feel so self-centered and self-serving? Why does it feel that way? And then I realized that this is not about me. If this was about me, then this whole page would just be called Ina's Journey or Ina's Journal, Ina's Personal Diary. That's what it would be. Who cares? Nobody. So I didn't want it to be that way. This is not going to be a space where I just come in and tell you, this is what I did today, and this is how close I am, and this is where what I did to get there. Follow my journey. It's not going to be like that. This is a place where I'm going to be holding you accountable. This is a place where I want everyone who's listening to the sound of my voice right now to commit to these values, to commit to these goals, and to walk along the path with me. Because if this is just something that I am doing, it's not, I don't think it's really helping anyone. It's just me, right? I believe that this is something we can get a whole lot more people to come and tell us about. Okay. And I am super, super excited to have just met Emmy from emmystyle.com. Emmy was one of the first plus size supermodels out there. She gets featured on CNN regularly. She has traveled the world. She has done conferences like of keynote speaking everywhere, right? I'm like, you've been there. You are that global phenomenon. Like, and she's like, yeah, we just have to understand that we're all one. And I love how she said that. I'm like, I need to know more. So I told her, I need to interview you in this space because you made it. You got to where a lot of us are being told that we can't get there because it's not realistic for us to achieve. I need you to come and tell this audience, what were your pivot points? What were the moments where you went from being just little old Amy, little old Emmy, just going about the world like everybody else, thinking that things are not realistic for her, to really realizing that her true potential could be achieved. And she went 100% after it. She has to come and tell us that. Because right now, I'm where she was. I'm where she was, where she had that stroke of genius, that realization that the world is hers to own, that there's nothing that she can't accomplish. And that's where you are. That's where I am. And I think this is going to be like once we go through these values and these goals that we're doing, I'm just kind of setting the stage to tell you what you're going to expect here. This is only going to be attractive to people like you and me and you, who really believe that anything is possible for us in this lifetime. Like life is a game and we're going to win at it because we're going to figure out that as long as you believe that is possible, then it is. That's really all it takes. If you are the kind of person who's still struggling with that core belief that you can literally make anything happen, then I do encourage you to work on that a little bit more. Continue to listen to these talks, see if we can change your mind. But I'm not going to be here trying to change anybody's mind. I'm going to be here telling you of all the people like me who believe that anything is possible. This is what we believe. This is what our goals are. And this is what we're going to do. Okay? So, are you excited about this? Are you excited about seeing your life as something that you can completely design? That there is nothing stopping you from what you want. Are you ready for that? If so, leave me a comment when you're watching this replay. Leave me a comment. Tell me that you're here. Tell me why you're here. I want to stop right now and I want you to tell me, why are you here? Why do you resonate with this? Do you believe that anything is possible? Where are you in this journey? Are you taking actions? Or is this just something that you believe and you're just kind of waiting for it to happen? Just tell me, where are you? Okay? And let's start this conversation because this is going to be a thing. Nothing is going to stop us. So, having said that, I'm kind of setting the stage for what the message here is. I am going to go over some goals that we are going to have for ourselves. Okay? And these are not extremely concrete because everybody who's listening to this is in a different industry. So you may have completely different goals. But the idea is that you would make these goals as concrete as you can. You've heard of SMART goals. I can't even tell you, like measurable and attainable and timely. And like, I don't remember exactly what that is, but it just means it has to be something tangible and something you can measure, something you can check off and say, yes, I did that, right? But these are some goals that I have that are pretty much like how we're going to be acting each day. Like, so these are goals. Let me start saying them and see if they sound like goals, okay? Because I also have a whole section on values and principles. Okay, should we start with the goals or values and principles? Let's start with the goals. Okay, here's one goal of mine. Again, I don't think this is a goal. This is not a goal. I'm gonna go to the next one. Aha. Always be achieving higher than you did last week. Okay, so basically what this means is that we're not going to settle for good enough. We're not going to settle for the things that we're doing right now. We're always going to have our sights on what the next thing is. You guys, when I first started my business, I couldn't have ever predicted that I would be speaking at online summits with 60 other people. And by the way, there's an online first summit going on right now, basically teaching you everything you need to know about creating an online business. And if you go to inacoveney.com/first, FIRST, all spelled out, inacoveney.com/first, you can still sign up for the summit. I did 2 talks there. I would have never imagined that that was going to happen to me. I started out so small, guys. I started out with like 7 people in my mailing list. Okay. I started out thinking, okay, I'm just going to do webinars and I'm going to do challenges and I'm going to do all these things. And that's how my audience is going to grow. But I was thinking very, very like me centric, very small, very just things that would fulfill me. I would have never imagined that in my third year in business, this is my third year in business, by the time the first quarter came around, I would have already doubled the amount of money that I made on my first year, right? I didn't know this was possible. I averaged 10K months in my first year. I didn't know that this was going to be a thing. When I first started my business on the side, I was making about $700 a month. And that's at the end of 6 years of getting clients and working my butt off, right? So there are things that I have been able to achieve. And these are just, I just told you about economic achievements. But what about the visibility stuff, right? I didn't know I was going to be interviewed in so many podcasts, interviewed in so many summits. I didn't know that I was going to be a staple at Staples, right? That Staples was going to be talking about me and about my podcasting classes and helping me promote them. I had no idea that I was going to be there. The only thing that kept me moving was following that inspiration, that thing that I wanted to do next, and unapologetically just go for it. I'm going to tell you how I founded podcastingclassesinboston.com. That occurred to me in one night, and it became a reality in like a week. Like that's what it took. This global phenomenon page, it came to fruition in a night. If you right now, I'm sure I will change it later, but right now, if you go to theglobalphenomenon.com, because I wanted to secure the domain, but Facebook won't let you put a domain that redirects to another page. You have to have an actual website on that domain. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm creating a website tonight just so that I can create this Facebook page. So I went and I created a website. Super simple. Title, video of me with no makeup on, because all of this was done at night at 11 o'clock at night when my kids were sleeping and my husband is waiting for me to have fondue, right? I just pressed record and I said, we are doing this. Welcome. Follow the page. And then there's a Facebook page right there, right? That's all the website is. I'm sure it will morph into something else in the future, but right now I don't know what that is. It's just following action. I don't know where this is going to end up, but I got to start somewhere. I can't just mull over my ideas for weeks and weeks. So, one of my goals, which I have been living by, and I want you to live by too, is to always achieve higher than you did yesterday. And I'm going to tell you the trick to it is just to continue to follow your instinct. Whatever it is that you want to do, take action and do it now. Just do it. If you believe that anything is possible for you, the only way to do that is to actually take action as soon as you can so you can watch the idea evolve in physical reality rather than just in your head. Because ideas can also evolve in your head, but they're worth nothing when nobody can see it. Put it out into the world and watch it evolve in front of your very eyes. So that's our first goal. Always be achieving higher. Goal number 2, create a positive network. What does that mean, Ina? Here's a story for you. When I was in my early 20s, I would go to conferences and I would go to I would go to a whole lot of places where I would be rubbing shoulders with really big people. And I am going to show you right now a picture. I am going to share my screen. You guys know who that is? That's Jeff Immelt. That is the former CEO of General Electric. This was me. This was at a conference, and I was probably 24, 25 years old. Hi, Colette. I see you there. Hi. 24, 25 years old. And I found myself in rooms with really big people. Do you guys know what I did when I met Jeff Immelt the first time? I shook his hand and I told him, "Whoa, you're tall. How tall are you?" And I think he said 6'4" or 6'5". I wish I remember the exact number he gave me. But that was such a silly thing to say, right? Number one, I had no business meeting somebody that is not going to be in my network, right? I was networking the completely wrong way. I would zero in on the most powerful person in the room and I'd say, I need to get that person to know my name. You know what happened? I did that very successfully. I networked with the CEO of my branch, the CEO of my business, and he was so impressed by me, not Jeff Immelt, another CEO. He was so impressed by me that he told me on the spot, contact my HR guy tomorrow. I want to mentor you. I'm like, great. I'm here thinking I'm going places. I'm playing the game of corporate and I'm winning at it. So I set up a meeting with his HR guy. HR guy brings me into his office and he's a old white guy. He looks at me like this little Ina, right? 25 years old. He looks at me, he's like, so CEO is not going to mentor you. You know that, right? And at that point, when I heard those words, I'm like, then what am I doing here? Why did you take this meeting? What am I doing here? And it was just like a moment of clarity when I realized I was networking the wrong way. And I would go to these conferences and I would work the room and I would get everybody to know me. And I would go with my big smile and my big energy. And I would get back to my room and I would call my boyfriend, who's now my husband. I would call my boyfriend and I would cry to him. And I would tell him, I felt fake the entire time. This is not what I want to be doing. Mind you, to everybody else, I was a delight. I won that night. I was miserable inside, right? Why am I telling you this story? Because there's a reason, there's a way to network right, and there's a way to network wrong. Network wrong when you are not your genuine self, when you're out there just to make connections and possibilities rather than friendships, rather than mutually helpful relationships. Make friendships. That's what I'm going to tell you about networking. Okay. My life completely took a turn the day that I understood that and that I realized that I am not going to become like, I'm not going to have a symbiotic relationship with this guy who's in a completely different, like, no. But hey, this other person who's in the room, we're a little bit more alike. Maybe we can establish some kind of connection. And I would go on a zero in on them. And like, it would not be talk of business. It would be like, who are you? Got a family? Got hobbies? Hey, how's it going? What are you watching on Netflix nowadays? Right? And I ended up growing my network in a positive way. I started networking by creating friendships and relationships and really listening to what people were saying. What do they need? What do they want? If I ever heard of somebody else talking about that, I would connect them together and be like, you guys need to talk. I did this, a really clear example of this. I went to Podcast Movement last year and I got so much out of it because I made so many great relationships there that, I was meeting people who had podcasts and I ended up meeting 3 different people who wanted to start a podcast for their universities. Like they were in the communications department for each of their particular universities. And I got them all in touch. We were all at a party one night, one of the nights of the summit. And I just saw them. They were all in my line of sight. And I went to each one. I'm like, you come here, you come here, you come here. And by the way, I wouldn't have felt comfortable saying, you come here to somebody that I just kind of met. We had actually talked. We talked about what they wanted, about what they needed. And I was able to just get these 3 people who saw me as an ally, who saw me as a friend, and I could get them together. And then I just walked away. I'm like, here you go. Right. And they really appreciated that. I ended up making a lot of other connections. So Colette says relationships make a difference. That is how we know each other. That is how Colette and I know each other. Right. I go to Colette. I'm like, have you ever thought of doing some trainings at Staples? She's like, yes. And her personality is effervescent. You can't just not be friends with Colette. So she and I were like 2 magnets, because we knew that networking wasn't about what the immediate benefit of this connection is. We know that it is about a relationship. We know this. So Colette networks the right way. Colette is creating a positive network. So that is one of our goals here. We're going to create a positive network. So if you ever meet someone who wants to talk, who wants to just get to know you, right? Even if it's in a business setting, answer their questions, see what's up, right? Offer them some help. Don't be so closed off, okay? I met someone at a post office yesterday who refused to tell me the name of his business. He refused. He didn't want to connect. He's just doing this as a hobby. He doesn't want me stalking him. I'm like, you know how wonderful it would be to know another entrepreneur in my local area? He didn't want to. I said it to him so he could hear it. I'm like, let me get this straight. You don't want me to find you. And he's like, yes. Okay. Then have a nice day. Don't be that guy. Okay? If we are here in the global phenomenon movement, we are making positive connections with people. Okay? Positive, and that means that it feels right. It feels like a friendship. That's what we're doing. Okay? That's how great networks are made. The next thing in our goals, and by the way, I will write these down, like make them pretty on Canva and post them here so we can refer back to them. And by the way, if you have any goals or values, once I get to the principles and values, if you have any that you want me to add to the list, please say them so that I can add them. Okay? That way we can make this a little bit more collaborative. I literally came up with this in the first 5 minutes, in the 5 minutes before jumping online. Okay? Because it's all in my head. Okay. Another goal that we have is to create a positive environment. Oh my God. I have to let go of my pen and talk about this. Creating a positive environment. We will not be the kind of global citizen that is going out there putting others down. That's not what we do. Okay? I have seen people put people down for no reason. And when they do that, that says more about them than it says about the person they're putting down, right? Like saying things like, well, why would anybody be on a TED Talk, right? Just because you don't want to doesn't mean that other people shouldn't, right? I don't like it that that person is offering a package on their website for $50,000. Like, who do they think they are? That says more about our mindset with sales than about them, right? What about, I don't like it that that person is going live every single day, and on my feed, I see them live every single day. Why are they doing that? That's what they do. And they have an audience who loves that. It's not up to us to judge how other entrepreneurs are running their business. We have to trust and know that they have reached some people who love them. They have been able to help others. So maybe it's not what we would do, right? Maybe that's not our thing. I'm the kind of person who would go live every single day if we weren't on quarantine, right? I love my videos. And guess what? Some people look at it and they unsubscribe. They just stop following me. They unsubscribe from my mailing list. They get out of my Facebook group. And that is okay. You should never follow somebody that doesn't give you energy, that doesn't give you a positive feeling. Don't do that. But it's not up to anybody else to tell me or to tell you or for you to tell others the negative feelings that go with, why would anybody do that? I don't like it that they're doing that. Why put them down? What is the purpose of that? So we just don't. We respect and we admire the fact that people are putting themselves out there and helping others. Teresa said, I've heard a phrase about that. Whether they love you or hate you, if they are watching, they're still a fan. Yeah. You know what? I have taught classes. I think one of my classes, one of my podcasting classes, I say that it's not a requirement to be liked to have a popular podcast. And it's true. But my point is, we're not gonna put anybody down. That's something that stops right now. Because when we put others down, what we're really doing is putting ourselves down. Is saying, I don't like it that the person is going live so much, is cluttering my Facebook feed. Unsubscribe, unfollow them, add them to another list or whatever. There's ways for you to control what comes through your eyeballs, but it's not up to you to judge anybody. You know, it works for them. Let them do it. Good for them. They're putting themselves out there. You guys know how hard it is to put yourself out there, to get over that hump of putting yourself out there? It's super hard, right? So we respect and we admire everybody else. The only people that we're allowed to call out is actual scammers. Do not reply to messages from a prince in India, a prince in Ethiopia, or Nigeria or whatever, Nigerian princess letters, right? That's not entrepreneurial. That's a scam. They're stealing your money. But the people that you're going to meet in conferences, people that you're going to see online that you get to meet, that you get to have in your network, they're not out to steal people's money. They're providing a value that other people have paid for and seen value in. So we don't put them down, even if their methods are not what we would do. There's enough room for everybody. Okay? So one of my goals is to create a positive environment. Is for everybody who follows this space, everybody who listens to the sound of my voice, understands that there is no need to bring in negative thoughts, even about yourself. Okay? There's no need to be self-deprecating. It's all about a positive outcome. Okay? It's about the net positive of your life and of the lives of people around you. That's all it's about. We never put others down. Teresa says, I'm still learning not to put energy into what I don't want and instead focus on what I do want. I'm so glad that you said that, Teresa. I'm so glad that you said that. Because really, when you ask somebody who hasn't really done this kind of work about their goals, usually you get, well, what I don't want is, I really don't want to be the kind of person who does that. I'm like, why don't you put some more energy into what you do want, right? There's no need to judge. Don't judge yourself for your choices, right? You made the choice that was the best for you at the time. It's time to move forward and keep it at a net positive. Colette says positivity draws people to your business. They want to be a part of your community. That's the kind of community that we're all going to be building, no matter where it is, no matter what industry we're in. My global phenomenons, we're going to need a name. We are the global phenomenons. My global phenomenons are going to have a positive message and a positive community. Okay? And this is the last goal that I had here. And by the way, please add tangible goals to this list. Like, I have a goal to do a TED Talk. Okay, that's gonna be one of my goals. Like, it's a goal that I have. So please, like, things that you do want to do, things that you want to get to. If you have a goal to create an online community, get started, figure out what your next steps are. So these are kind of like our guiding goals for everybody. And then we're gonna get into our principles. This is the last goal that I have, and that all of my global phenomenons are going to have. Spread a positive message around the world. So this is a tiny bit different than creating a positive environment. Creating a positive environment is knowing that we're not going to judge. Spreading a positive message is that you got to have a mission. This space, this global phenomenon space, it's not for just becoming Instagram famous, if you know what I mean. Although there's a lot of people who are Instagram famous who have a positive message to the world, right? They attract people and they do charity work. They offer good services for good money because it's worth it, right? They spread, products that are positive, that are going to be helpful to their audience. Like, that's awesome. But I just want you to know that your purpose for becoming a global phenomenon has got to have a positive message associated with it. Right now, my message for this community is we are going to dream big. And my purpose is that every single person who decides to follow this page, to dream really big, that you guys are going to be doing a lot of really good in the world through your message. So it's my hope that this becomes like like it spreads. I think it's really inappropriate for me to compare it to a virus at this point in our lives with everything that is going on, but I want good and positive ideas to spread. And that is my message for everybody to dream as big as they can and to know that everything is possible for them. So that's just kind of like the list of guiding goals that we're going to have, right? But I want you to have specific goals. My goal, TED Talk, right? I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but I'm going to have to set up my next steps for that. And you need to figure out what your next big thing is. What is it? Getting featured on a particular podcast, getting published in a particular newspaper, getting up on stage at a conference. Like, what is your next immediate big dream big goal? Write it down because we're gonna get to our next steps. Colette says the global phenomenators. Boom. Sounds like the Terminator of small dreams. That's what we are. Thank you, Colette. So let's talk about our values and our principles, okay? And I know I've been live already for 36 minutes. I love being here. I am so excited about this initiative, guys. You don't even understand. Like, this energy is oozing out of my pores since I came up with this idea. It's been wonderful to actually make this a thing and to have you guys watching live. Thank you. So let's talk about our principles, the things that we will accept, the things that we will not accept, our non-negotiables, okay? This is what we're going to live by in this movement, in this search for spreading a huge message into the world. Number 1, continue to dream bigger, okay? So if my dream is to be on the TED stage, and I make it in the next couple of months, which with quarantine, yeah, probably not. But once I make it on the TED stage, my dreams have not stopped. What is the next big thing? What is the next big challenge? What is the next big visibility opportunity or help opportunity or charity that I want to associate myself with? Or what do I want my millions of followers to do next? You got to have a bigger dream. So keep dreaming bigger as you meet your goals. So that's going to be a guiding principle, that we never stop dreaming bigger. Okay? This just grows. There's no place for it to stop. Okay? That's value number 1. Value number 2, we say yes to opportunities. How do I explain to you how many people have said no to an opportunity because they're afraid? Because they don't know what that opportunity is going to lead, or because they tell themselves that opportunity doesn't give me the right return on investment. The moment somebody says, I need to know what my ROI is on this thing, is the moment when I go, you got some work to do, okay? Because there's a lot of things that I have done that I didn't know what the ROI, the return on investment, was going to be, okay? The day that I messaged Colette at Staples to tell her, have you ever thought of teaching classes? I had no idea how I was going to pull that off. I had no clue what that was going to look like. I could have just looked ahead and done the math. I'm like, well, if I teach once a week and I only charge $10 a seat, and that's only $100 a month, and that's not worth it to me. So I'm just not going to message Colette at all. I could have just done that math and been like, this is not worth it to me, right? Instead, what happened was magical. Number 1, I got to meet Colette, right? Magical person to know. Number 2, I got in front of people I never thought I would get in front of. I started to build a local audience that I didn't have before, and I started to sign clients from that local audience. Like my network just started expanding. My business started expanding. And the podcasting classes in Boston.com that I created were the best thing. It's the smartest thing I ever created for lead generation, for interaction, for networking in my own community. It's the smartest thing I ever did. If I had stopped myself, if I had said, well, they probably don't, they're probably not going to pay me anything, right? Which is the case. Staples doesn't pay me to go and run the classes at Staples, right? And that was something that was very clear in the beginning when we're negotiating that, okay, I'm going to go and teach the classes. What is the deal? They're like, no, we let you use this space. We don't pay you for it. I'm like, I could have just said, ROI not met. Sorry. You guys, do not say no to opportunities because you think you're smarter than fate, right? Because you think that you're smarter than this web of opportunities that has no way to go but up, right? No way to go but spreading. Every time you say yes to something and see how it goes, see what happens next, right? You don't know. See what happens next. See the idea through. What would happen if I got up on stage and I started teaching classes? I don't know. Let's check it out. Let's really see and check it out for real rather than coming up with ideas in our head for why not to do it. Okay? The only reason to not do something is if it violates these principles, I guess. It's the only reason. But if there's something tangible that you can do, you're just going to go and do it. That's going to be one of our guiding principles. If you have a big idea for something, you're going to create yourself a Facebook page. Which, by the way, you are watching me go through the steps that I'm asking you to do. Do you have a big message? First thing you're going to do, create a Facebook page and start talking about it. And I don't care if you have 0 people watching you live. People will catch your replay later. But you go and you start spreading your message now. And you know what that does? You're thinking, yeah, but nobody's going to watch it. I'm not making money off of it. ROI, 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 right? We don't talk about ROI. We talk about taking steps. Your ROI is progress on your idea, on what you're going to do next, is opening up opportunities. That's your ROI. So you're going to do that now. You're going to start now. You get to hone in your message. You get to figure out what feels good to talk about and what doesn't. So you can stop talking about it, right? So our guiding principles: accepting opportunities, saying yes, and then figure out the rest. Okay? Number 3, never compromise our integrity, hurt, or degrade others. So like I told you about keeping a positive environment and having a positive message, and this never compromising our integrity is particularly special because we don't know until we're in that situation. I have been in situations, I have been on sales calls, right? Like I'm signing a new client and it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. I went through my entire spiel of how this is going to help them, and I'm still sensing a lot of reluctance. I'm sensing this person is probably not as in the enlightened path. They're going to be looking for the ROI. Like if anything goes wrong, they're going to be blaming me about it. Like it started to feel wrong somehow. And thank goodness and the heavens that they came back the next day saying, actually, I'm not going to do it, but thank you. That saved me, right? Because I didn't really have the courage to say, wait a minute, this is violating my integrity in a very, very core way. And I'm being too chicken to admit it and to just stop the freight train. Okay. So one thing that is really hard to do is to stick to your integrity when you are in the moment. It's very easy to stick to your integrity when the situation is hypothetical, right? It's very easy to give advice. And I'm a coach. I would know. It's very easy for me to stand here and tell you, no, this is what you're going to do. You who are in that position, it feels a lot harder to do those things, right? And I've been in those positions. So this is a hard one, but it's one that we're going to try our hardest to stick to, which is to never compromise our integrity. If you're being offered an opportunity that you don't feel is aligned with you, say no. And I know I just said say yes to opportunities. Here is the difference between an opportunity that feels wrong and an opportunity where you're afraid of taking it, that you're analyzing the ROI and you're not seeing it there. Okay, there's a big difference between those two. An opportunity that feels wrong, you feel like in your gut, You don't want to do this. That's very different than, I would love to do this, but I don't think it's going to work because the ROI is not there, or because I'm afraid, or because I don't really know where that's going to lead. Maybe it's going to lead to a place that I don't want to. Those fears, you can talk yourself through them and take advantage of the opportunity and see what happens next. Just keep saying yes to opportunities that make you feel afraid. But if something feels wrong, like, I don't think that I want to advertise men's underwear on my website, but they're offering me $500,000 to do that. That is an integrity violation that is very, very hard to say no to. So we have to continue to not compromise our integrity. It's hard in the moment, but we gotta. It's something we have to always keep in mind. And don't worry, great opportunities are going to continue to crop up. They're going to continue to come up. If I say no to advertising men's underwear on my website, I assure you those $500,000 will happen in some other way that I feel great about. Okay, so let go of the money, let go of desperation, of feeling like you need a client to say yes to opportunities that you don't want. Stop. If it's not integrity, just say no. Trust that that's opening up space and time in your life for something else that is more positive to take its place. Okay. Number 4. And by the way, I'm going to count them so you guys know when I can let you go, because it's been 45 minutes. But I really appreciate you guys being here and watching this, because this is what we, the global phenomenon, live by. Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, just 9 of them. I'm on number 4. Never put others down. I already told you about that when we we're talking about creating a positive environment and not judging others, creating a positive network, always having a lot of grace and respect for other entrepreneurs, even if they're doing some things that we wouldn't do. Remember, they are reaching someone that loves them and that is finding them helpful. That's enough for us to say, you go on your merry path. And I'm so glad that you exist so that you can help that audience. That's it. Okay. So we never put others down. 5, never sacrifice our family's health, emotional health, or harmony. I'll tell you a personal story. My husband is an introvert. Can you guys imagine me married to an introvert? And it just magically works. Our relationship is such that we admire each other's differences, and we appreciate that their difference complements our personality and complements our life in a very special way. So we've been together for 17 years. Wow. We've been together for 17 years, and we still love each other very much. We still hold hands, we still kiss, we still tell each other we love each other. We have the best relationship in the world. But he's an introvert. You guys know what he hates a lot? Watching me do videos. It raises his anxiety level. He can't. Like, we could be both in the living room, and I tell him, "Oh, honey, can we just pause the TV? I just need to record a really, really quick video for somebody." He will pause it, but he will leave the room. So let me know when you're done. He can't handle the pressure. At one point in my 20s, I was experimenting with things to do, and I did stand-up comedy for a little bit. I just went I went a couple nights to a place where they would let you just sign up and do it. So I did stand-up comedy. My husband did not want to come see me. When I told him, "Honey, I'm going to have a TED Talk," the first words out of his mouth, because he wants to support me, he's like, "Honey, I'll be there in the front row cheering you on." And I'm like, "Are you sure about that? Like, is that really what you want to do?" He's like, "No, but I really support you." It's like he can't handle the anxiety. Okay. So when I talk about never sacrifice our family's health, emotional health, or harmony, is that I will never do anything in my business that would make his life hell. Right? Such as, I'll never insist that he appear in a video with me. Right? I'll never insist that he be a part of my business or my clients or whatever else, if that's not something that comes from him. I'm not going to do things that are going to mess up my family life. So when we are on this path of global phenomenonship, I want you to keep in mind that your personal relationships at home are what are going to make your life so much better. Okay. So always have your partner on board with what it is that you're doing, have their support. Okay, make sure that they know what's happening, make sure that they know like you're doing this and you're super happy, because nothing makes a partner happier than you being happy. But if there are things that they need you to do for them to feel like life is good, remember to always give back, right? Always give back, always keep that open communication and keep that harmony going at home, no matter what it is. So don't let your search for global phenomenon ship to destroy what you have at home. What you have at home is so important. Okay. Now that's different than if you have somebody who doesn't support you. I'm assuming that you have partners who support you. Okay. But make sure that this is something that you can do and also keep a little bit of harmony at home. Okay. There are a lot of things that I won't do, even if they will advance my career, because my home life is very important to me. And I want it to be just as important to you guys. One of the things that I do, to give you an example, is I am not, if I have a conference that is several days long, I know that creates strain in my house. I know that it's not an ideal situation. So I will never book 2 conferences in a row. Right now, I'm actually faced with that situation. I have the podcast movement conference got moved to October, and I already had a conference of a couple days in Toronto, Canada, that I was going to go to the week before. So I have to choose. I want to go to both, but I have to choose which one am I going to, because my family life is very important to me. It's a top priority for me. So when you think about your choices, make sure you keep your family in mind. Okay? This is not all just self aggrandizing, self fulfilling, self centered. Okay? We're building a community, we're building good in the world, and it starts by being good to ourselves and our families. Okay? Number 6, believe that anything is possible for us. I think this is going to be like in the commandments. This is number 1. This is the most important one. You have to believe that anything is possible for you. The word realistic goes out the window starting now. Never think of realistic ever again. If anybody asks you, are you sure that's realistic? That's just a pessimist's way of, labeling something in a little bit more PC way. Never let somebody tell you the word realistic to your face. Okay? And when they do, thank them for their care. Tell them you got it under control, and forget that word and never use it yourself. Okay? Anything is possible for you. Gotta believe that. Number 7 out of 9. We're almost done. Live as if our success is inevitable. It's just a matter of time. I'm going to give you a secret. Secret of success. And by the way, Colette agreed. Family first. Family is important. Live as if our success is inevitable. It's just a matter of time. I'm going to give you just a tip. People who make it big, people who are the big successes in the world, like the Oprah Winfrey, the Tony Robbins, the Barack Obama, all of them had trials and tribulations that they had to get over. They had obstacles in their way, and they decided to not quit because of those obstacles. And I assure you, the people who are, really, really big in your industry or in the world stage, these are not people, just the people who got through easy, right? These are not the people who had the easiest path there. That's not what happened. These people had the same trials and tribulations that you will have, the same hard decisions that you will have, and they chose not to quit. That is the only way to make it. It's not to assume that, something got really hard, so I guess this is my stopping point. That's not what you assume. You assume, this is my big trial. How am I going to get around it? How am I going to get over it? How am I going to get under it? Right? You don't quit. That's how. That's it. Maybe sometimes you have to slow things down. I interviewed Diana Bellevue in my 2020 Vision lectures that I did late last year. And she told me the story. She was preparing her TED Talk at the time. I wonder if it's already gone live. I should follow up with her. But she told me that she lost basically like 90% of her business overnight because she made one wrong hire, right? One of her employees screwed up majorly. Actually, I think it was actually intentional. Like they had a really, really bad agenda. And she ended up losing 90% of her business overnight. Was that a sign for her to get a job and to stop doing what she was doing? She didn't take it as that. She just dusted herself back up and said, okay, that happened and we're going to keep going. That's what it takes to be a global phenomenon. And remember that any big obstacles that you have or anything that is really preventing you from continuing, anything that feels really, really hard is just the beginning of a TED Talk. All TED Talks begin with a trial, with something really, really hard that happened to you. But you, because you're a global phenomenon, you rose above it. So prove to yourself that you can do that. And that's one of our guiding principles. We're going to act as our success is right there. We can see it. It's right beyond that mountain. We just have to get over that mountain. It's just a matter of time. So you never quit. Okay. Number 8, prop others up whenever we can. This is not an I'm stepping over everybody to make it to the top situation. This is a we help each other up situation. Okay. So I'm not going to be best friends with somebody who's just out to make it despite of what happens to me. We're all propping and helping each other up. So something that I do for my clients all the time is I post and I get market research subjects for them and I really help them get things done. This is not like an I'm behind the glass and you're over there, I'm giving you advice and it's up to you to follow it and that's it. I am here to help you and I will prop you up as much as I can, which is why for my clients, I have publicity opportunities. I'm like, okay, I'll feature you on my Facebook group, on my Facebook page. You can use that and boost it. And I give you the file for the interview. Go spread your message, right? I tell others about my clients. I prop them up all the time. And it's not just to prop me up like, look what a great job I'm doing. It's because I want them to succeed. Okay. So that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be finding opportunities, finding ways to help others. Okay. Finally, be flexible. If it doesn't feel right, evolve. So suppose I started with my first idea. My first idea, when I just got out of my job, my first idea was I was going to teach moms, like new moms who are on maternity leave, which I was in, how to create websites so that they can do that and then not have to go back to work. Perfect. So I did market research and I asked all the moms, okay, what if I taught you how to make websites? That gives you a little bit of money on the side. It's, something to do. They're like, no, thank you. That's not my calling in life. I have other dreams. And that was the inception of trailblazing out of corporate life. Understanding when I did my market research that women have their own dreams. I'm not going to go and tell them like, okay, this is how you create a website. None of the people that I talked to wanted to. And it made me realize, you know what? That's not what I want to do. I want to prop others up. So that was the beginning and the evolution of trailblazing out of corporate life. And trailblazing out of corporate life evolved into the global phenomenon. So you don't stop with your idea because you don't know what it's going to look like. You start acting on it and then you watch it evolve. And if something starts to not feel right, you're the boss. Change it. Change your message. Start a new message. This is me starting something new. Trailblazing out of corporate life is still going business as usual, but I have a new message and it's here. So I'm going to try it and see what happens. So be flexible. Understand that whatever you choose to do is not what you're going to do for the rest of your life. Just continue to follow your passion. Okay? So I think that's it. So now we have to figure out what our next steps are. So if you have watched this far, it's 58 minutes, guys. So if you have watched this far, I would love to know, first of all, are you in this with me? Do those sound good? Do you want to continue? Do you want me to continue to post about what we're going to do about this and how we're going to get there so I can teach you how? Is this something that you really want to do? Are you in this with me? Say yes in the comments. Okay? And I'm going to post these. I'll create a really pretty Canva graphic with our values, with our goals. And I need you to create your own list of goals. What is it you want to do? Get featured in podcasts, speak at a conference? Like, what is your next big dream? Start a podcast. Just start doing it. What are your next steps to do that? For me, I want to do a TED Talk. And you guys know what I need? I need a subject. I need to really figure out what is my big message for the world. I feel like this could have been my TED Talk, sort of, right? I feel like I need to do a little bit more work, but I want to do a TED Talk. So, my next steps, number one, I want to get more people who have been that global phenomenon or who have experienced that to come and talk to us about it, to come and tell us how they figured out how to unlock the secrets of the world, of how the world works. Okay. I want them to come here in this space and tell us about it. Okay. That's going to be my next step, is to get people to come and tell us about this. Okay. And another next step, you need to write this one down, is whatever it is that your big dream, next big immediate dream is, figure out what your next step is and do it. Okay. That's going to be your next step. For me, for my TED Talk, I'm going to keep hashing it out. And I have the feeling it's going to have a lot to do with this movement. And I'm super excited about it. I'm already taking action on it. Okay, you guys, I will be giving you more information about this as it pops up. But let me know in the comments that you're in, that the global phenomenon is something that is going to happen for you. And you're going to continue to follow this. You're going to continue to come and see what comes out of this. I have no idea. We'll have to see. We'll play it by ear and watch it evolve in front of our eyes rather than all in my head. All right, guys. It's been a true pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. For everybody who was here live talking to me and for everybody who's watching the replay, leave a comment. Let me know that you were here. I would love to know who is watching this. And with that in mind, I am a mom. I have a 2-year-old and an 8-year-old, and they're wonderful kids. And the only way that I can do this is when my little one is sleeping. And guess what just happened? He just woke up, which means that I'm going to go and turn into a pumpkin. I'm going to go give my baby a hug. He doesn't seem very happy to have woken up. I'm going to go give him a hug. Thank you, guys. I will be back very soon. I vow to put an event in this page next time that I go live so that you don't miss it. I go live in my Trailblazing Out of Corporate Life group every Monday for sure, sometime during the day, sometimes in the afternoon, but sometimes I just go live whenever I feel like it. In this page, I'm going to schedule them, okay, in advance with a topic. So you're going to get to see them under events. So make sure to follow the page so you get notifications on those events. And yeah, oh, he went back down. He seemed a little bit cranky, like he wasn't ready to wake up yet. Yesterday, he slept for like 3 hours. Okay, so make sure you're following those events. And if you would like to follow Trailblazing Out of Corporate Life, there is a podcast. Go to your podcasting app and look for Trailblazing Out of Corporate Life. Then go to the Facebook page, the Facebook group. Just find Trailblazing Out of Corporate Life for high achievers and go-getters. I also have a link for it, inacoveney.com/Facebook, that takes you straight to the group. Group. I don't know if it's going to let me. Yeah, there it is. inacoveney.com/subscribe. inacoveney.com/subscribe takes you to the podcast. So you can open that link on your mobile and sign up for the podcast right there. And just make sure to like this page. Okay, I'm done. I have a problem closing down. Okay, I'm done. Thank you so much, guys. And I will talk to you very soon. Keep an eye on the events for the next live. Thank you. Bye. Hey there! Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you just saw and you want more of that, subscribe to the channel right here. Also, here's another video that I think you should watch. And one more thing, did you know that there is a podcast? Just search for it, Trailblazing Out of Corporate Life with Ina Coveney, but you have to spell Coveney right. It ends in E-Y. I'll see you there.